Okay, we can do a food take of the day, and this is gonna be a mean one. If you're someone that feels like you need this, I'm sorry. I still love you. I empathize with most things, and even this I empathize with, but I mean, sure. What I'm talking about is alcohol-less alcohol drinks. I think it is actually so dumb. What's the point? So you see this, I see this, it's like a big trend right now. Now, cute little like mixed drinks like juices and just like nice little drinks, that's fine. But like they're literally selling like White Claws without the alcohol, right? And at that point, like I'm sitting here, like if you need to drink a White Claw without the alcohol, now number one, if whatever helps you get off of alcoholism, that whatever works for that, that's awesome, you know, cool. If that helps you wean you off, sure. But I'm kind of just sitting here like, I feel like if you need an alcohol-less drink to fit in socially so bad, I think you need to like go to therapy, because you probably care about what people think so much that it's a problem. I actually like, yeah, as someone who doesn't drink alcohol, I agree. Why the fuck would you ever want an alcohol-free drink? I feel like it's just a social thing. I think the only reason why people drink alcohol-less, alcohol-branded beverages is just to feel socially included at events with other people drinking when you don't drink. And I think that is like mental illness. I think that is like you're caring about what other people think to such an unbelievably insane degree that you're like doing crazy things. I think that is like pretty crazy. I think that's pretty extreme. I know this is like a really harsh take. So if you do this, like, I don't know, like, don't take what I say to heart. I guess it's hard to say. I guess I'm being so harsh, but it's so crazy. Alcohol-less drinks is so that the kids can drink. Why would you want to build that habit? Like, huh? That seems like a negative. That seems like a not valuable thing to have. Shirley Temple. I mean, cute little juices. Like if you're just mixing juices, I almost just wish we had a different term for that than like mocktail, right? Like mocktail implies like you're having to do like something that is similar to alcohol. Just call it like a cute little juice drink. That's fine. But like, you gotta fake to fit in. I think that is the cringiest shit. I think like there are so many like alcohol, like beer cans, right? They're really popular right now. A bunch of beer cans that are just alcohol-less. I have a lot of sober friends. You simply avoid getting asked, why aren't you drinking? Which is an awful. I don't know if that's an uncomfortability. Maybe I'm just being unempathetic. I don't know if that's an uncomfortability that we need to cut out though or avoid. I think that's fine. If you can't answer, once again, if you have an alcoholic problem, at the end of the day, whatever helps you solve that, sure. But I almost don't, the problem is I don't know if this would help people solve that, right? I feel like if you still need to appear to be socially drinking to get over your alcoholism, you probably just need to go to rehab. Like you should be able to have the strength. As someone who has struggled with different addictions, you need to be able to have the strength to say like, no, I'm sober, I'm good. I'm fine. I don't want. If you can't tell people I don't want to drink, if you're that affected by peer pressure where you can't say no, thank you, I don't want to drink, I feel like you need to solve that, not band-aid solution it with a non-alcoholic beer. I feel like that's crazy. What if you're the designated driver for the night? Just don't drink. Okay, I didn't start drinking until I was 22. I'm 26 now. From 21, even then, when I met my girlfriend and hung out with all of her friends at the time or whatever, I just drank water. I just didn't drink. It's not that big of a deal. I feel like it is not like, I feel like people are way too socially pressured. It's like crazy. And at the end of the day, I'm a content creator. Like to some extent, my job is what people think of me and like whatever. And to some extent that matters. But if I'm not being myself to that would bother me if I was faking myself to that extent. That really would bother me. That would really, but if it doesn't bother you and it helps you, I guess, sure. This is one thing that I have a trouble empathizing with, maybe, you know, maybe it is just a human error or a personal fault, right? Yeah, if you just don't want to drink, just don't drink. I think the idea of like faking drinking, also the idea of that just further encourages other alcoholics, right? It's almost like the makeup problem with women, right? It's a really shitty situation where if you don't wear makeup, you get shit on by both men and women. But also, if you try to be brave and not wear makeup, you get shit on. But it's like an endless loop, right? So every woman gets like socially pressured into wearing makeup, which fucking sucks. It sucks. We're like starting to create that problem with alcoholism, I feel like, and we need to just cut it in the butt. Like the women one is, the makeup thing is tougher because that one's been going on for generations, so it's way harder to stop that train, right? Versus the like alcohol thing, we can just stop that. We're not too far yet. We can just stop, right? I feel like, yeah. As someone who had an alcoholic dad, I can absolutely agree, bro. You have to cut it straight off, and everything that is similar. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, that's the, if you're drinking fake beer, I think you still have a massive, like, you're not helping your problem. I feel like you're giving in, if anything, right? It can be used as a, now I could see it as a temporary solution, like how people, you know, get off of cigarettes with vape and then eventually cut to nothing, but you have to make sure you're like weaning off. I could see that, but I don't know. I've only drank, yeah. I honestly, I'm for sure. I mean, water straight, but I don't know. I just don't. I don't see the value in alcohol-less alcohol drinks or like alcohol-less alcohol branded drinks. That to me seems, once again, silly and socially tied down. Like silly. No, dude. No, fuck. Don't be. I mean, I think it's an interesting conversation. Oh, so don't apologize or whatever. Get hooked on caffeine and sugar like an American. I mean, there's probably, I'm trying to think if there's an interesting, I don't think there's a parallel here. I mean, I get what you're saying, but like, also alcohol's way worse for you, but. Vaping was proven to get more people on smoking than off it, actually. That's, I don't know. I will say I don't know the research on that, so I just can't comment, but it's possible. Some people have such an alcohol dependency that hospitals will actually administer alcohol. I agree, but those people, that's, if you're that alcohol dependent and you're that out, I understand that, you should be in rehab. You shouldn't be weaning off with fake alcohol drinks. At the end of the day, I don't know. I will say, at the end of the day, whatever gets you through, fuck my judgment, right? At the end of the day, whatever gets you through the day and whatever gets you like to the next day and day by day, whatever, like if it really is that convenient for you, sure. Like, we are humans, we're not going to solve, I want to, you know, preface, like, we're not going to solve all of our problems. So maybe I am being judgmental, right? Too judgmental. I'm fat, right? Does someone need to like say, oh my god, you're so fat, why don't you just lose weight, Tech W? Like, no, obviously I know I need to eat less food, right? I'm kind of doing the same thing where I'm like, you know what, like, why not just get over your social fear? And maybe that takes time, or maybe you just can't do that or whatever. Sure. But I think it still needs to be talked about, I guess. I think it still needs to be talked about. I think it's such a new thing, a new phenomenon, that it's not really talked about much. So I think it's good to talk about, but I probably should be less judgmental, right? Yeah, I don't know. I've been seeing, also, I feel like it's just a like marketing tactic. I feel like the brands must make a fucking killing, right? You took like the most expensive part of the drink and you just like replaced it with more cheap juice, and now you get to sell it for the same price, if not more. Like, alcoholless beer sells for the same price, if not more. That's the other thing. You're spending so much money to socially fit in. That's the other, like, God, the other problem, right? Is it new though? I've seen alcohol-free beer / wine my whole life. It's been there, but from my anecdotal experience, I'm seeing it become more popular. I think things like TikTok and Instagram are showing people it more, and it's becoming like a cute little thing. And it can be, once again, I think cute mocktails, I actually think are cute. I just almost wish we didn't call them mocktails. Yeah, not new, but it's been a trend lately. Yeah, it's picking up as a fad, I would say. I'm seeing a lot more alcohol-free, like once again, alcoholless White Claw is like popping up, for example, right? Yeah, I think it's got more popular the past 3 years. I feel like the brands must be making a fuck, like, White Claw probably would rather sell their alcoholless White Claw than their alcohol one. Like, it's like literally like so much more money for them, right? It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I think I know I'm being harsh, and I appreciate you guys listening and like having an honest conversation. I really don't. I think it's silly, but someone might look at me and say, LMAO, he's fat. That's so silly to me. Why not just eat less food? Which, I mean, if I'm doing this to you, I mean, fair enough, right? Fair enough. But I just think it's so. Yeah, plus it's easier to sell. There's no restrictions or like, yeah, you need like a lot of permits to sell alcohol and stuff for the most part, right? From my understanding. I just think it's kind of silly. I don't know. I'm a big fan of pushing to get over social boundaries whenever possible. I think, and obviously, like this is one of the big negatives. I do love social media. There's a lot of positives to social media, but one of the big negatives is that we care more than ever what people think of us, and we've gotta try to find areas where we can get over that where possible, because you should not just give in to comfortability at all times and not just give in to, oh, let me like socially fit in at all. It's really, really scary. It's a very, very homogenous world you end up living in when that's the case. I think it's good. I think if you're like actually have an alcohol problem, more power to you. With do whatever you need to do. But if you are just buying alcohol-less, alcohol branded things just to socially fit in, I think it's a really deep problem. I think it's a problem. You are being a dick, Pat. What did you say? I wasn't here. Great point. We'll end it on that. Based and true, Clarko.